Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Prophetess Sanita. For those of you who are not aware, I am Prophetess Sanita. And I'm here today from a word from God for someone, some people, I'm not sure. But I have something to share with you all today from God. I am Prophetess Sanita. The title of my word today, the title of my topic today is Step Out in Faith. It's time to go. Step out in faith. It is time to go. How about we begin with prayer? All right. Father God, thank you so much for another day, Father God. Thank you for waking us all up today, Father God, allowing us another day. We acknowledge that you did not have to, Lord. Thank you for new mercies, new grace, Father God. And we just pray, Father God, I pray the strength in your people today, Father God, to move forward today, to step out and do whatever it is that you're calling them to do, that you are instructing them to do, Father God. Give us the strength and the courage to step out today in faith, to do whatever it is that we need to do, Father God. We invite you into our day. And whatever we're going to face today, wherever we have to go today, whatever we're going to go through today, Father God, we need you with us, Father God. We need you with us. Thank you for all your provision, your love, your help, your attention, your patience for us, Father God. Thank you for being so good to us, Lord. Help us, Father God. Give us the strength, Father God. We trust you as we step out in faith. Okay. All right. Today's topic today is step out in faith. Today, God is telling you to step out in faith, and whatever it is, He's instructing you to do, or wherever He's instructing you to go, you're going to have to step out in faith to do it. Stepping out even when it looks crazy. Stepping out even when even if you are afraid. Step out even if you feel that you're not qualified to do it or to go. Step out even if you believe that you don't have the potential. Step out even if other people will tell you, you can't do that. You can't go there. You're not qualified for that. Step out and do whatever God is telling you to do. Buy that house, step out and do it. If God is telling you to do another car, you're afraid of the car. No, God is giving you instructions. This car is for you. This is your opportunity. Step out in faith and do it. Into a marriage, into a relationship that you're not sure of, God is telling you this is the one. Step out and do it. Do not be afraid to step out into love. Step out into what God is telling you to do. Step out in faith and trust God to step out into whatever it is He's calling you to do. Step out. He's going to step out with you. Ask God to give you the courage. Father God, this don't look good. This is scary, Lord. This is scary. I don't even know if I'm qualified for this, Father God. Lord, I don't even have the resources to do this, to go here, Father God. How am I going to do this, Lord? I trust you, Lord. I know that what you're telling me to do, you know something I don't know, Father God. But I'm going to step out, Lord, and I'm going to trust you, and help me, Lord, to take it one step at a time. Father God, I don't even know. I don't even have the support to step out and do what you want me to do. I don't have the support to go where you're telling me to go, Father God, but I'm going to trust you anyway. Father God, there's fear. I'm kind of scared here. This is a scary situation. You have asked me to step out and do, Lord. You have asked me to step out and do something that just seemed impossible, Lord. I'm going to have to trust you, Lord. Father God, strengthen my faith, Father God. Strengthen my belief, Father God. I believe, Lord, but please strengthen my faith. God will strengthen your faith. God will He will stretch your faith. Whatever God is calling you to do, whatever He's telling you to do, step out in faith and do it. All right. Many times we are afraid to step out and do what God is telling us to do. Sometimes God can ask you to do something that may not make sense. God can ask you to do something that seems pretty big. God can ask you to do something that may make you look pretty silly. Put you in a position to where you humiliated. To test your trust, to test your obedience, to test your love. So when God asks you to step out and do something, sometimes it can be pretty big. It can be pretty scary. And you're going to have to trust Him. You're going to have to step out in faith and do whatever it is He's telling you to do. It looks impossible, but step out anyway and just do it. Those who are in your ear telling you what you can't do, telling you that's not God, telling you that's impossible, telling you what do you think you're doing, you're not qualified for this, telling you you don't have the potential for that. You step out and you do it anyway. If God is telling you to do it, you step out in faith and do what God is telling you to. Because for somebody and some of you, it is time to go. It is time to go. Let's turn to Genesis chapter 12. Genesis chapter 12 in the Old Testament, the book of Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 4. No. In Genesis chapter 12, God is telling Abraham to leave his family. Genesis chapter 12, verse 1, God is telling Abraham to leave his family, to leave everything, kins, everybody in your father's house. Just get up and just go to a place that I'm going to show you. Abraham obeyed. He trusted God, leaving, not knowing where he's going. Many of you may not know where you're about to go, but you're going to step out. But many of you may know God will give you instructions where to go, but step out anyway, okay? Now let's go to verse 1. Now the Lord has said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindreds, and from thy father's house, and unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that blesses you, and curse them that curse thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So Abraham departed as the Lord has spoken unto him. Depart as the Lord speaks unto you. Depart as the Lord instructs you. And Lot went with him. And Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. Okay, so God right there is giving Abraham instructions to leave your family. He left everything. Now, he took Lot, but we're going to get into that later. God instructed him to leave everything, leave everybody, and come and go. I have better plans for you. I have so much for you. But you're going to have to leave where you are. You're going to have to leave those around you. You're going to have to leave that job. You're going to have to leave those coworkers. You're going to have to leave your friends. You may have to leave your family. You may have to leave your children. But what's important is that you follow God's instructions, be obedient, trust him, step out in faith, and move into whatever he's telling you to do. He's telling you to move, leave this house. He can be telling you to leave something. He's telling you to leave something. Leave this apartment and go to that house. I know you don't see the resources. I know you don't see how you're going to do it, but it's time to go. It is time to go. Whatever he's telling you to step out and do, even if it looks impossible and you just don't see, just step out and do it anyway. When you are confused about the instructions God is telling you, or in the path in front of you, just look, you can't really see, because he's not going to give you full details, all details. If he give you so many, you're confused. I don't know if this is God. I don't understand how God is going to do this. I don't understand why would God tell me to do this. These instructions that he's giving me to step out, to go into this job right here that I'm not even qualified, although you may not realize that you are qualified to do something you don't realize you're qualified to do. I don't know why God is telling me to move to New York. I don't know nobody in New York. He's telling me to go to New York. He's moving my job, my business. He's taking me to I have been promoted, but God is telling me to move to California. God is telling me to leave. I've had women to tell me God has told them to leave their jobs to go to school. I don't know what he's telling you to step out in faith and do, but it's very important that you be obedient, do what he's telling you to do, trust him. When you are confused, consult with God before you consult with people. So why? Because it is God who's calling you. It is God who's giving you the instructions. So do not let people tell you, God didn't tell you this. God didn't tell you to do that. Many times we as a people, we don't even know what God is telling us, but we will tell you what God did not tell you. Consult with God concerning the people that get into your ear. Consult with God concerning the advice that flows through your ear. Lord, this is what my auntie told me, Lord. I need confirmation, Lord, to understand, because I don't understand what you're doing, Lord. I don't understand what you consult with God when you just don't get it. when it looks impossible, when you're confused. It doesn't have to make sense to you at the moment. It doesn't have to make sense, but at the same time, avoid the people that's in your ear. Now, God can use someone to help you with your confusion. God can use someone to actually tell you which way you need to go, how you're going to get there. He can use anybody, but anybody that gets into your ear, what's being said needs to go to God. Consult with God when you don't understand what he's telling you to do, how you're going to do the details that you need. Consult with God. As I say, it doesn't have to mean you're going to leave your family. You could be about to leave a job. You could be about to leave a relationship. Sometimes you got to step out of faith, step out in faith to leave a relationship. You're in a relationship with someone that it's kind of like you're holding on to them for your own reason. You're afraid to let them go. Something you're accomplishing, keeping them in your life, and it's time to step out in faith and walk away from that bad relationship, walk away from somebody that it's time for them to go. So there's something you got to step out of and step into and step out in faith. It doesn't have to mean leaving family members. It can mean leaving the city that you're in, the country that you're in. You're going somewhere, I don't know. Okay, now my call, as I was called by God to follow God as a prophetess. Well, really, to be honest, I didn't know I was a prophetess. I didn't understand my call, but when I left, I didn't know where I was going. But I was instructed I had to leave my family. I had to walk away from everything. I had to leave apartment, job, car. I had to lose it all and walk away from it all to go in the direction God was calling me to go. To go and to walk into my calling, the call on my life. I had to walk away from everybody. I had to leave everybody behind. Now, he did not tell me that I could not bring my kids. There are reasons when now if God is pulling you away from your family and he's telling you to leave them, there's a reason. Sometimes you can carry people with you that's not really for you. You know. So when God is telling you, you know what? Just take your children, take your husband, just take your wife. Okay, follow his instructions, because you may say, you know what, I have my niece. I have really been there for my niece. I really don't want to leave her. God knows I love her, but if God have not given you instructions to take her, you leave her, because there's a reason he's telling you to leave. There comes a time when it's really just time to move forward sometimes. It's just a change in your life, a new season for your life, and some people just can't go. All right. Now, he will give you instructions of who to leave behind. If you're confused, God, I really love my niece. Lord, I really love my nephew, and I really want to take her. I really want to take him. I really want to take my best friend because she has nobody, God. But I'm going to consult with you, God, and make sure it is okay to carry them along, because, God, if you say no, I will leave them. I will leave them behind as you have instructed me to do. Wrong people, bringing other people that God have not instructed you to bring, that's considered as disobedience. Whatever God is telling you to leave and you bring it with you, that's considered disobedience, and disobedience causes problems. When you're being disobedient, you know that's going to cause problems. I'm moving to Chicago. God has a better plan for me, better life for me. But then I want to go back and get an ex-boyfriend. Now, God has not given me these instructions. So because of my disobedience, I have to be mature enough to know that it could be some problems around the way. Why? Because I am bringing someone God did not instruct me to bring. Whatever God is instructing you to do, follow his instructions and step out and do whatever it is he's telling you to do. Let's go to chapter 13, verse 1. And Abram went out. And as I say, when you bring extra people along, if you're leaving people behind, if that's your instructions from God to leave people behind, and you tarry along someone that does not supposed to be with you, everybody can't go wherever God is telling you to go. Everybody can't go. We grow up in life and we think we're going to keep our friends around all the time, and our family, we're just going to stay close. No, there comes a time when there's a new season in your life where some people just can't go. Now, and as I say, when you take them along, you take problems. Why? Because they don't fit in that new puzzle that puzzle of your new life that God has put together. There is no peace for them. They don't fit. Don't try to squeeze in people that don't fit in wherever God is trying to take you. Let's go to chapter 13, verse 1. And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. You see where he was not supposed to take Lot. He took Lot. He was not supposed to take Lot. Now, it was okay to take his wife, the cattle, whatever God gave him permission to take, but he took a Lot. Now, it's a chance maybe he wasn't on purposely trying to be disobedient. That was his brother's son, and his brother had passed away. So, he probably felt like, I love my nephew. I've been there for my nephew. I'm going to take him with me. So it's a chance he probably wasn't being disobedient on purpose, but he was being disobedient. Taking along someone that was not supposed to go. Taking along someone that he was supposed to leave behind. So you can be in a position to where you have to leave something behind, somewhere behind, your past behind, people behind, friends behind, a job behind. You will be leaving something behind in order to move forward. You will have to leave something behind, or somebody or some people behind, to step out in faith and do what God is calling you to do, to step out in faith and go where God is telling you to go. Now, my example, I'm going to use one thing about me you're going to learn. Whenever I'm watching television, I have a tendency to watch. As I'm watching the show, I will pick out something where God stands out, where God's work is in there. I don't know why I do that. Now, this is concerning Martin Lawrence and Gina. Okay, in the Martin show, you notice they were dating, they were all in love and everything, and their friends was always around. Their friends was always there. Okay, the friends had keys to Martin's house. The friends was allowed to just walk in. It was always Gina, Martin, Tommy, Cole, and Pam. They were always together. Although Gina and Martin had a relationship, but their friends was always there too. They was, and it's okay. That's okay. Now, I'm not saying there's something wrong with that. Now, I'm going to get to my point. Now, it came a point to where God had plans for Gina and Martin. Gina just so happened to be in LA doing some extra work. She was just there on work, on business. And so happened she get a promotion. She get a promotion. But the promotion, as she's telling her friend Pam, only thing about this promotion is I'm going to have to move to LA. I'm going to have to move to LA. And she asked herself, I don't know what Martin is going to think. He's probably not going to want to leave and move to LA because he got his job, his talk show and everything going on in LA. I don't know. But I'm just going to go home and I'm going to talk to Martin and see what he wants to do. Because see, now at this point, Gina and Martin are married. They are married, and their friends are still coming around as usual, still walking around with keys, still walking around when they get ready. They are married, but they're not respecting their marriage as marriage because they're still acting like they're just, dating. When you get married, it's time. There should be a change somewhere. There should be a change. If you think about it, when they came back from their honeymoon, Martin was already prepared to go play pool. So God had to bring a change into their life, bring a change into their marriage. So it was like he had to exalt their marriage. Okay, so now also, as she has received good news, so have Martin. He's given his own talk show, but he had to move to LA. Look at that. Both of them gets this great opportunity in LA. Now he's wondering, I don't know if Gina's going to want to move to LA. He have no idea. She got some good news. He got some good news. I don't know. But you know what? Now Gina's on her way back to home to tell him, to discuss it with him. He's on his way to LA. Now, my point is, they both realized that they had new opportunities in LA. They was both going to have to move to LA. Now they was excited until it occurred to them, we got to leave our friends. Oh man. And the friends was looking like, wow, that means y'all have to go. That means that y'all have to go. Sorry. So they packed up, they moved, and they had to leave Pam, Tommy, and Cole behind. Why? Heading towards their new life. When God has something better for you, sometimes you got to leave some people behind. Sometimes you got to leave the old you behind. Sometimes you got to leave your thoughts, your ways, your attitudes behind. But it's like when there's a move forward, it's always something or someone you have to separate yourself from. But you're going to have to trust God and whatever he's telling you to do and move forward. Now in Genesis chapter 13 verses 5 through 9, I'm not going to read all of this, but in Genesis chapter 13 verses 5 through 9, it's talking about Lot and Abraham. As they're traveling along together, all of a sudden there's strife. Remember, Abraham has carried along his nephew, someone God has not given him instructions to bring. So because he have brought along someone that was supposed to be left behind, now he's facing trouble. And verses 5 through 9, it tells you that their herdsmen began to have strife, and there was problems and arguments and just a bunch of mess going on. Why? Because although that's his nephew, he loved his nephew, and not saying that Lot was a bad person, but the problem arises because he brought someone along he was not supposed to bring along. Regardless of what it is that you need to leave behind, you need to leave it behind in order to move forward. Now, I've given you a list of things that you may have to leave behind. Like I said, it could be your attitude. It could be your coworkers. It could be a best friend that you need to leave behind. It could be your family that you need to leave behind. It could be that old you, your old ways you have to leave behind. But when you take whatever God is instructing you to leave behind, then you mess things up for yourself. You know, whatever and whoever you need to leave behind, do not carry it with you. Everyone cannot come. Some people must be left behind in order for you to move forward into what God has for you to do. Inviting others, they can't go. When you allow others to go that are not, God have not instructed you to bring, okay, then you allow problems. Because when God doesn't give you instructions to bring someone, there's a reason why he's telling you to leave some people behind. See, when I had to leave my family, my calling was so crazy, and it just didn't make sense. So I couldn't afford to carry people with me that's constantly in my ear saying, that's not God. Every time God is telling me to do something, they're saying, that's not God, that's not God. So when I finally left my family, in a way I was happy because I didn't have to listen to all that anymore. When God is telling me one thing, I got people in my ear telling me, God didn't tell you that, and they know that they don't know what God has told me. So that means you're on purposely distracting me, or sometimes people are not on purposely distracting you. You know, there's a reason God tell you to leave some people behind, and when you bring them along, you can cause a delay for yourself. So whatever God is telling you to leave behind, or whoever God is telling you to leave behind, leave it, because you're bringing trouble along with yourself, and you're gonna cause a delay. You're gonna cause a delay trying to carry somebody along. You know, you may think you're going to take the person, and God may somehow block it, and you're wondering, I don't understand. It's like something's going wrong. God is waiting for you to separate yourself from whatever needs to be left behind. Verses 14 through 15 in chapter 13. Let's go to verse 14. And the Lord said unto Abraham, I'm just going to focus on verse 14. And the Lord said unto Abram, and a portion of it, and the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him. No, I'm going to read the whole thing. Sorry. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him. God waited for him to separate himself from company that he was not allowed, that he was not instructed to bring. God waited for him to separate himself, because in order for you to move forward, you got to separate yourself from whatever God is telling you to leave behind. And the Lord said unto Abraham, after Lot was separated from him, now lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art, northward, southward, eastward, and westward. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give thee, and to thy seed forever. You will move forward when you separate yourself from what God is telling you to separate yourself from. Step out in faith and prepare to leave behind whatever God is instructing you to leave behind. Step out in faith. It is time for you to go. Enjoy your blessed day.